One late afternoon, I sat with Carla, 52, in my softly lit office. She avoided my eyes as she whispered, "I think I've been hiding away for a week. I just haven't spoken to anyone." I leaned forward, heart open. I'd heard this story before. "Tell me what that feels like," I said. Carla took a deep breath. Her small room, a cup of tea, the soft music in the background. It felt safe. Yet every knock at the door made her stomach drop. She was torn between comfort and confusion. Is something wrong with me? She felt relief in the silence, but in the hush of that confession, I realized something important. This isn't just Carla's story. You may have felt the same. Perhaps you recognize yourself in those words right now. Maybe you've slipped into quiet rooms for days, or gone silent on friends without realizing why. If this resonates with you even a little, you might tap like or comment below. Know that you're not alone in feeling this way. Why you seek solitude. You may wonder, why am I doing this to myself? The truth is, choosing isolation can come from many places in our hearts and minds. Psychology tells us it's not always because we're broken or antisocial. In fact, sometimes it's about self-preservation. Think of Carl Jung, the famed psychologist who taught us about introverts and extroverts. Jung himself admitted that solitude is, for me, a fount of healing, that he needed many days of silence to recover.
He wasn't alone in this. Many people, introverts and others, simply refuel when they're apart from the noise of the world. In quieter terms, you might be simply recharging. Maybe your spirit has been on the front lines, caring for family, pushing through work, soothing others' worries, and now it's whispering, enough. In solitude, without outside demands, you get a chance to breathe again. So, if you choose solitude, it often means something very human is happening. Your mind and soul are taking a needed break. It is not a flaw to listen when your heart says, I need space. In fact, it can be a profoundly wise act of self-care. Truth 1. Your soul is calling for attention. Deep down, your solitude might be your soul's gentle way of speaking. In the quiet, the part of you that's usually drowned out by chatter and distractions finally has a voice. Think of the stillness of early morning before the sun rises. When you really listen, you may hear the faint stirrings of your deepest dreams, pains, and truths. Carla, for example, shared that in those silent evenings, memories she had shoved aside began to surface. Old hopes of starting a painting class, fears of growing old alone, questions about who she really is. Similarly, one of my other clients, Elena, 47, confessed that during a 3-day retreat alone she started journaling and discovered feelings she didn't even know she had buried. This is the heart of it. Solitude gives voice to your inner world. Carl Jung taught that the unconscious mind often communicates through dreams and intuition. When you step away from the noise, your unconscious can whisper. Your soul might use this time to show you something important. Maybe it's a creative spark, that book you've wanted to write, or the song you've been humming. Or maybe it's a wound you've hidden, a hurt from your past that needs acknowledging. Emotionally, this means the alone time is sacred. You might feel unsettled or even emotional as these hidden thoughts rise. But remember, this discomfort is part of healing. Truth 2. You are recharging your spirit. Another simple truth is that you may just be out of energy. Life has a way of draining us, especially if you're the kind of person who gives a lot. Maybe you're always the friend who listens to others, or the caretaker in your family. After endless giving, your soul feels empty, and it needs solitude to refill. Picture this. Imagine you've been running a marathon. Each day outside with people or task is like another mile. There comes a point where you simply must stop and catch your breath, or risk collapsing. That's what your need to be alone is signaling. It's your mind and body saying, I need rest to go on. Marisol, a 45-year-old teacher I know, told me that after years of managing her own family and teaching young children, Sundays alone became her lifeline. She would turn off her phone, light candles, and take slow baths. At first, she felt guilty. Shouldn't I spend that time with family? But she realized that without that recharge, she had nothing left to offer anyone. Over time, she embraced that quiet Sunday as sacred, a way to refill her well. Clinically, this is known as setting boundaries with your own energy. You might be introverted by nature or simply highly empathic. The world's noise, people's problems, traffic, the endless stream of news can overload you. Taking days to yourself is like hitting the reset button. You process emotions without interruption, your adrenaline levels come down, and your mind unclenches. So if you've been locked away thinking you're avoiding people, know that sometimes it's more accurate to say you're protecting yourself. This is not weakness, it's wisdom. It means you care enough about your own well being to give yourself what you've earned. It's perfectly okay, sometimes essential, to unplug and nurture your own spirit. Truth 3. You may be healing. Old wounds. There is also a tender, harder truth. Solitude can be a shield, a way to tenderly tend to wounds that still ache. Perhaps something painful has happened, an argument, a loss, a betrayal, and the noise of others feels too loud to survive right now. Pulling away creates a safe cocoon where you can feel without as much threat. Imagine a wound on the body. It needs time to heal, often under a bandage. Your heart and mind are not different. If you hold tragedy or grief inside, being alone can feel like peeling off the bandage slowly, letting yourself feel bit by bit. Take Sophia, 42, as an example. She had been deeply hurt by a friend and wasn't ready to face social gatherings. Instead, she spent weekends journaling and crying in her garden. It looked like isolation, but really she was healing, naming the hurt, letting the tears come, and slowly learning to forgive. Therapeutically speaking, this is sometimes called a freeze or avoidance response. But it's not inherently bad. It's how some people cope. If the world is unpredictable or painful, staying in your own controlled bubble can feel safer. However, it's a delicate balance. Too much time alone can become a trap. Truth 4. The danger of prolonged isolation. While solitude can be nurturing, there is a hidden danger if it goes on too long, unchecked. The line between healthy alone time and unhealthy loneliness can blur. When you choose to be alone for days, it can feel good at first. But if underlying issues aren't addressed, it may slide into a gray cloud of depression or anxiety. I've known people who started with good intentions, just a short retreat to rest, but then vanished from loved ones for weeks. One client shared, I would go to the cabin thinking I needed a weekend, and emerge after 10 days feeling numb and empty. This happens because while solitude gives space, it can also magnify worries if we stay there too long. Emotionally, this might look like feeling stuck or hopeless. Time itself can distort. Days alone can make minutes feel like hours, making it harder to break free. You might start believing, maybe I am a broken person, even though that's not true. You may miss important help while thinking you should just tough it out. To avoid this pitfall, set gentle boundaries with your solitude. Check in with a friend or professional if your silent days become heavy. Remind yourself to re engage, even if it's just calling one person or stepping outside for a short walk. Remember Elena? After her retreat, she made a pact to have lunch with a friend every Friday, no matter what. Those small steps kept her anchored. Your mental health matters. If you recognize that your isolation has become isolating you from yourself, please reach out. Truth 5. A chance for inner growth and creativity. Now for a brighter truth. This solitude, if embraced wisely, can be transformative. Think of it as fertile soil. When you plant a seed in rich, quiet dirt and water, it grows. Your time alone is that soil for your creativity, wisdom, and spiritual growth. For example, another client, Julia, 50, spent a month at home recovering from burnout. In that time, she rediscovered her love for painting. What started as a self-imposed retreat became a creative renaissance. She ended up finishing a painting she'd started years ago, and even started a small online gallery. On a personal level, use this time to explore your inner world. Meditate, journal, dance around the living room. Practice speaking kindly to your reflection. Learn something that has always called to you, but got pushed aside. This way, the days alone become something more than just being by myself. They become days used to heal and create. Take a deep breath, let it out slowly. Feel the ground under your feet, the air in the room. You survived that week of silence. You can survive the next chapter too. When you do step back into conversation, family, friends, you will bring to them someone wiser, a person who listened to their inner voice and honored it. That strength is your gift. Thank you for spending these minutes here. If any of this touched you, please let me know below or share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Remember, in this shared silence, we find each other. You are seen. You are whole. Namaste.